Okay, let's look at another question from speed dating. Once again, if you haven't read the question, I would encourage you to pause the video, even work it out if you want, and then hit unpause to check your work. Okay. In this problem, we are asked to find the ratio of, and I apologize if you paused the video, you couldn't see the whole question. PF, where is it? PF and LF. So we have to find the ratio of the lengths. Well, that's basically going to involve doing two mini problems. One of those mini problems is figuring out the length for PF, and one of those mini problems is figuring out the length for LF. Once we know those, we can set up the ratios. Length, another good word for length is distance. So in this problem, we're going to be using the distance formula, which is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And we could draw out a picture, like, it's possible to just draw out a graph and say that, okay, P is at 535, and that L is at 1510, and that F is at 925. But the accuracy of that drawing isn't actually going to help very much with the work. The work is just going to be about using this formula. So let's go up and let's do PF first. P, it's in the prompt, but let's write it out one more time. It's 5 and 35. So that's going to be our x1 and our y1. And F is 925. So that's going to be our x2 and our y2. We're actually going to do the work over here on the calculator as long as we know kind of the appropriate values. So let's set this up on the TI-83. Because this kind of thing, if you do it once on the TI-83, each time you redo it, it gets easier and easier. So we need a big square root. And then in our first parentheses, we need x2 minus x1. x2 is 9 and x1 is 5, so we need 9 minus 5. And we're going to square that, plus, and then the next parentheses we need y2 minus y1. Our y2 is 25 and our y1 is 35. And then we're going to square that. So what we've just gotten there is the distance for PF. It's about 10.77. Now we're going to do the distance for LF. So let's add the point L to our list. L is 1510. So let's call that maybe x1 and y1. When we do L and F, that'll be 0.1 and 0.2. What's nice is once we've typed this all in, you can retype it, that's totally fine. I like using the entry button. Victor, you know about the entry button? If you press second and then entry, it gives you your old thing and you can just kind of change it. So for the x's, instead of using 9 and 5, now we're going to be using 15 and 9. So let's just change this to 15 and 9. And I apologize for the screaming coming from the other room. And then instead of 25 and 35, we're going to be using 10 and 25. So let's just change this to 10 minus 25. And what we should get is the other distance. So let's see here. We have our two distances, 16.155, and we have 10.77. We're going to clear the work over here. We just kind of want to keep those numbers on the calculator. The ratio of PF, which is the first one, to LF. So here's something we need to notice. PF is 10.77. It's smaller than LF. LF is 16.155. So in any of these ratios of PF to LF, we need the smaller number first. So out goes 3 to 2. Now we want to look at 2 to 3, 2 to 5, and 3 to 5. 3 to 5, in other words 3 over 5, that's about 0.6. 2 over 3, that's about 0.66. 2 over 5 is about 0.4. And I just kind of have these memorized. You could always work them out on your own. If we take these two numbers and divide them, we'll see which of these it actually comes out to be. So we'll do 10.77, that's our PF, divided by 16.155, that's our LF. And look at that, man, it comes out so close to 0.666666667. So in other words, these two numbers, when you divide them, it's basically the same as 2 divided by 3. So it lets us know that answer choice A is correct.